What a headshot! What a head!
How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you guys through my very own transfer plan for the upcoming Game Week 2. So hopefully Game Week 1 was absolutely sensational for you guys. I'll be taking you guys through my team, showing you how many points I got at an initial stage, as obviously we still have the United game coming up tonight. So you guys can post how your team got on in Game Week 1, and after I go over how my team did, I'll head into the transfer plan as well as discuss what transfer options you guys might have for Game Week 2. So I've received a lot of questions over my Discord server as well as my Twitter DMs about people asking me what to do with Gabriel, should they be bringing Chil in from Game Week 2. Don't worry, I'll be discussing that all in this video. So that's something you guys are interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So let's get on to how my squad is getting on in Game Week 1. As mentioned, still have the United game coming up tonight. I do own Rashford and Bruno Fernandes from that. So let's hope for an absolute goal fest from United. Now I'm slightly worried about Bruno, to be honest, because if you guys watch Premier League football this week, you'll know that as soon as players complained to the referee, they were given a yellow card almost immediately, and you guys know how Bruno is. So fingers crossed here that Bruno doesn't get sent off for 2 yellow cards for asking for yellow cards, as that'll be absolutely terrible. But generally, I think that United should do quite well in this game. Wolves aren't the strongest side defensively, but United unfortunately don't score as many goals. So my prediction is hopefully going to be 2-0 as you guys are watching this video. If it's going to be tomorrow, hopefully that does come true, and we are sitting with some nice points. But without those 2 United assets having played, we're sitting quite comfortable, 78 points, pretty happy with that. Seems to be on the top end of the kind of FPL community, and that's given us an opening rank of 150k. Now the first thing I want to say to you guys is please don't look at your Game Week 1 rank. It literally means nothing at this stage of the season. Most people say come Game Week 10 you want to be in the first million, or come Game Week 10 your rank actually matters. I don't even think it matters at that stage. The only rank that matters is come Game Week 38. That does sound a bit cheesy, but with the way people play FPL nowadays, some people are bench boosted in Game Week 1, shout out Nathan Bacon FC, but people use chips at different stages of the season, and therefore that only normalizes after Game Week 38. But as mentioned, in the comments down below, let me know how your Game Week 1 team got on, how many points did you guys end up with, and what are your transfer plans looking like for the upcoming game week. In terms of my transfer plan, I've got 1 free transfer and 1.0 million left in the bank, so a nice little upgrade can be potentially made. Now let's start off our team review with going over the bench, and nothing much to talk about here. The only big talking point is the potential for Turner from Nottingham Forest to be the actual first choice goalkeeper. It seems like Dean Henderson's transfer is kind of nailed down a bit. He might actually stay at United, and therefore Turner might be the first choice at Nottingham Forest. Now their performance overall wasn't too great against Arsenal, but that's kind of expected. Very tough opponent, loves to attack, and therefore wasn't expecting a clean sheet. Then going on to our 4.0 defenders, I went for Baldock and Bayer come that Game Week 1 deadline. Now yes, Kaboria might have been a better option from an attacking point of view, but I trusted these defenses slightly more than that Luton defense, and that was proven true by the fact they conceded quite a few to Brighton. Baldock slightly better, but Bayer obviously played City, so that was a bit of an expectation. Then finally the 4.5 striker of choice is going to be Archer from Aston Villa. Now he was actually rumoured to be transferred to Sheffield United, so I'm really holding thumbs that does happen, because if he does stay at Aston Villa, I don't expect him to get many minutes. But other than that, Mubama didn't also get any minutes for West Ham, so this section is looking a little bit dire. But let's get on to the actual starting 11 to show you where those 78 points came from. The first points were going to come from Johnston between the sticks. There was a bit of a debate come that Game Week 1 deadline. I either was going for Pickford, Flecken or Johnston, but decided to go for Johnston because of that reliability of Crystal Palace's defense. So I just trusted that Crystal Palace defense slightly more than I did the Everton one, and that was proven true by the fact that Crystal Palace at least kept a clean sheet in Game Week 1. Now unfortunately Johnston didn't get many saves, so no save point there, but I'll definitely take that clean sheet. Then in terms of Flecken for Brentford, they also conceded in their game against Spurs, but that was an expectation, as Spurs are quite an attacking side this season and in previous seasons. So let's hope that the clean sheets do still flow in for Crystal Palace in the upcoming game weeks, as so far it's Johnston 1, Pickford 0. Now if you guys do have Onana tonight, I expect them to also keep a clean sheet, so good luck to you. Now you guys know that I was potentially going to go for Edison between the sticks. He started for Man City in that Friday night kickoff. The reason I didn't go for him was I wanted that flexibility with that in the bank cash, and at least Johnston did match Edison. But if you guys did still keep Edison, then he's a great option to go for. Expect him to continue to play for Man City, and you guys know how good their defense is. Now let's go into the back three, and I'm going to start off with Ben Chilwell playing against my team that I support, Liverpool. He managed to get an assist, but he could have actually had a goal that was narrowly ruled off for offside. Liverpool also conceded, but it was a pretty strong goal, so I always expected Chilwell to lose their clean sheet, and I did say that attacking returns are probably the only points he's going to get. Now I wasn't expecting potentially 2 attacking returns, a goal and an assist would have been absolutely mental, but if you guys did watch the game, you know how high Chol was actually getting. Also added to that, in the post-match conference, he said that he was playing as a left winger when they did have the ball, which just makes me think he's absolute FPL gold. So my recommendation would be, if you guys don't have Ben Chol in your side, I definitely look at getting him. I do prefer him to Reece James because of the fitness concerns that saw Reece James being subbed off fairly early. So that's my recommendation. If you guys do have Gabriel but don't own Chol, I would transfer Gabriel out for Ben Chol, as he's just simply FPL gold as mentioned. Now he also racked up some bonus points which took him to 7 points, so I'm going to tell my kids that this was a clean sheet and a bonus point. Then in terms of our second option, major controversy came about that Game Week 1 deadline. If you guys weren't on the stream, you would have missed this move, but I transferred Saliba in for Gabriel with about 2 minutes to go. Now the reason for this transfer was that Andy from Let's Talk FPL got some news that potentially said that Gabriel would miss the fixture, and that's exactly what happened for tactical reasons. Now this makes it quite hard for you Gabriel owners because, as mentioned, it was for tactical reasons. He wasn't injured, it was simply that Arteta preferred to actually bench him. Now who would have predicted that? No one would have. He played basically every single minute last season. I know they've just signed Timber, but I didn't expect that to kind of shake up the centre back pairing that much. But obviously I was wrong. Now if you guys do own Gabriel, but also own Ben Chol, I'll probably just keep Gabriel. Timber looks like he did pick up a knock or an injury in that game, so I'd expect him to return to the starting 11 pretty shortly. But I did go for Saliba, lost their clean sheet, but also got an assist for a massive Saka goal, so I'll take those 5 points. Now this did kind of raise a lot of debate about should you guys be active around the deadline. I do believe so. These little kind of nuggets of news potentially come about, but at least this time it was only 4 points. So yeah, sorry if you guys did miss this, but that's why I always recommend being in the deadline streams, and I managed to just get a message to you legend members just in time. The last defender to go for was going to be a Stupinan from Brighton. Brighton actually conceded in that game, but a Stupinan got an assist fairly late on, and he also racked up a few bonus points like Chilwell. So our entire back 3 system got assists in their game, not really expecting one from Saliba, but definitely from a Stupinan and Chilwell, as these 2 players are quite attacking. So nothing bad can really be said about our back 3 system or getting us points at the end of the day, but unfortunately no clean sheets. Now let's move into our midfield department, and my favourite 6.5 of choice has been basically in all my drafts is Mbeumo from Brentford, and he racked up a nice penalty but also missed a big chance. So apparently that big chance was basically an open goal, which is not what you like to see from your striker or midfielders, so the 7 points could have been even more. But I'll take it at the end of the day. If you guys did go for Matoma, he outscored Matoma, outscored Eze. The only player that might have been an alternative was going to be James Maddison. But I'm happy with that Mbeumo pick. If you guys also went for Visa, he racked up a goal as well, so the Brentford attack does look quite strong. Then our Arsenal double up of Saka and Martinelli both got us attacking returns, Martinelli with a very nice kind of skillful assist. Then that Saliba assisted absolute banger from Saka. Go watch it if you guys haven't. Now Saka also racked up some bonus points. Unfortunately Martinelli didn't get any, but at least he outscored Odegaard. Now if you guys did go for Kai Havertz, Trossard, a little bit unlucky on those fronts, but these 2 options were definitely the template picks, and that was for a reason. So can't complain about Saka and Martinelli, happy I went with both of them, as 15 points isn't too shabby, but I was kind of expecting this against a poor Nottingham Forest side. But I guess let's see how kind of Arsenal kick on after this Game Week 1 win, as this was definitely a fixture to target for Game Week 1. Now while talking about Saka, let's talk about our captain Erling Haaland. Managed to score 2 goals against Burnley, taking him to 13 points after racking up all bonus as well. Now if you guys did go for an alternative, it probably was going to be Bukayo Saka. The predicted point said that Saka was the best captaincy option, but we went with the majority and actually captain Erling Haaland. Now it's going to be 3 points difference if you guys did captain Saka over Haaland, as most of us own both of them. But definitely the best choice to go for in terms of Erling Haaland just proves why he's such a robot or machine, definitely the best FPL asset to get in the game. Now the big thing about Man City that you guys must please watch out for is they do play on Wednesday night in the kind of Europa or UEFA Super Cup against Sevilla. So just make sure that Erling Haaland comes out unscathed, hopefully he doesn't play the full game, as I really do want him for Game Week 2. And the final option to go for, I was contemplating between João Pedro and Ollie Watkins, went with the more safe option in terms of Ollie Watkins, and he only got an assist in that game. Now I say only assist because he actually had a few big chances that he could have scored, but unfortunately it wasn't his day. João Pedro on the other hand converted a penalty, which was a little bit of an easy penalty, but he also racked up a bunch of XG and XA in that game. So do I regret my choice? Slightly. I do think João Pedro was probably the better punt to go for the opening 2. And now the fact that we got Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea looking quite strong, that would have been an easy switch come Game Week 3. But I'll talk about that in my transfer plan coming up, but at least Ollie Watkins has a very nice Game Week 2 fixture against Everton at home. So now you guys can see where those 78 points came from. Hopefully Bruno and Rashford can do a madness for us tonight, taking us up as high as possible. But let me know in the comments down below, how many points did you guys get for Game Week 1? Are you guys happy? Do you have any regrets? Any transfers that you wish you made? And how's that overall team actually looking? Now the next talking point to go over is our transfer plan for the upcoming Game Week 2, 1 free transfer, 1.0 million left in the bank. Let's see what we can potentially do. Now the first thing I want to say is I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'll probably be banking a transfer for Game Week 2. I just believe it's almost like a wildcard. If you guys are forced to make a move after you wildcard, it's pretty bad and probably down to injury. So no injuries in the current squad, which is pretty lucky, and let's hope that continues throughout the week. So yes, I'll probably be banking my transfer going into that Game Week 2 deadline. I don't want to lie to you guys, plan transfers that won't happen, because that's a little bit unfair. Now the only transfer thing that you guys might potentially want to make is that if you guys do own Gabriel, I might actually take him to bench Shaw if you guys don't own Chilwell, but that's probably the only move that I do. So no Salah kind of picks for captaincy this week, unfortunately. I'm not going to take a -4, -8 to do that, as I just don't know if that's worth it. But there are a few transfers, or at least the watch list, that I currently have my eye on. These moves might be made in Game Week 3, Game Week 4, and I just want to bring them to you guys' attention. So the first player I want to talk about is going to be Reece James from Chelsea. Now you guys know that those Chelsea wingbacks get so forward, and their attacking threat is simply outstanding. Now I would prioritize Chilwell over Reece James just because of fitness concerns. We saw that Reece James was taken off with a apparent knock, but actually it was just because he was tired. So I think that Chilwell is slightly more match fit at the current moment, but the double up is what I have my eyes on for Game Week 3. Now I've got the next 3 fixtures on screen right now. West Ham away, not the worst fixture in the world, but still a tough one. But then after that, Luton and Nottingham Forest at home. They have even better fixtures after that. Great run of fixtures for Chelsea. That's why the double up might be on the cards. Now what I really hope for is that that Chelsea defense stays consistent. We have seen Reece James, as mentioned, with some injury concerns, some fitness concerns, so you could actually drop out every now and again from the starting 11. But if he doesn't, he's a massive asset in terms of FPL and a fan favorite from previous seasons. Now obviously if I want to bring him into my squad, I'll have to take a player out. I can't afford the upgrade of my bench option at 4.0 to Reece James at 5.5. So there's 2 options that I could potentially make. The first one is to be a stupid one out for Reece James, because those Brighton fixtures get quite tough from Game Week 4 onwards. Now at least for the next 2, in Game Week 2 he has Wolves away, in Game Week 3 he has West Ham at home, so Game Week 3 might actually be the week to make that switch. I generally think that a Stupinan against Wolves has a better attacking threat potentially than West Ham away for Reece James, and that's why I'm comfortable sticking with what I have for Game Week 2. So that transfer kind of makes sense from Game Week 3 onwards. As mentioned, Brighton's fixtures are pretty tough from Game Week 3, so kind of a natural switch. That also gives us Game Week 2 to kind of assess how Reece James is doing. I want to see how Pochettino kind of lines up against a potential easier side, and if that formation stays constant. Now the one thing about a Stupinan, and I mentioned this in my kind of team review, is that he gets so forward, loves attacking threat, and therefore he still has quite a high ceiling. So yes, I think that Brighton will still score against your Man Cities, your Liverpools. I can still see them doing quite well there, so Stupinan might still be a hold over that tough run. A player that therefore doesn't have a high ceiling might be Saliba at centre back for Arsenal. Now the only thing about Arsenal though is that their fixtures aren't that bad. I mean, Crystal Palace away isn't that bad, Fulham at home is a pretty good fixture. It's only in Game Week 4 where things get a little bit tough against United. But I do believe that the attacking threat of Reece James outweighs the clean sheet threat of Saliba, and therefore this transfer might still be worth it. Also a little bit sad about losing Gabriel. I believe that he has a better attacking threat off those set pieces than Saliba, so this transfer could kind of correct that. But definitely a transfer that I'm looking at, but I would probably wait 1 week's time. The fixtures on paper look pretty strong for my starting 11, and Reece James is West Ham away. But as mentioned, if you guys don't own Shaw, I'll definitely be bringing him into my squad. Gabriel to Shaw is an easy switch for me, as that attacking threat is off the charts. Now the next player that I want to talk about for my transfer plan, and I'm kind of eyeing this, the reason why I kept 1 million in the bank was I wanted to get someone like a James Maddison at a more expensive price tag. Now you guys saw him in Game Week 1, was simply outstanding. I know they've just lost Harry Kane, which will impact them attacking wise, but James Maddison still looked pretty decent. Now the reason I won't make this transfer is that Game Week 2 they do face United at home. I know this is a home game, but it's going to be a tough one, as United are quite a well-drilled side. But then after that, Burnley away, Bournemouth away, there's a James Maddison fixtures where I do believe that he can haul. So let's see what happens in Game Week 2. Then from Game Week 3 onwards, I've got 2 transfers in the bank. I could always make a switch for him. Now like with Reece James, I'll therefore have to lose on my starting 11, and there are 2 options that I could potentially make. The first option is me Martinelli, however he does face Fulham at home in Game Week 3, which is a great fixture as Fulham are quite bad defensively. But let's just say that I do favour Maddison against Bournemouth and Burnley in the next 2. I could make this switch from Game Week 3 onwards. But I'm not super keen on this like I am with the Reece James one. I do believe that Martinelli will do quite well against anyone, so there could be goals in that United fixture. So maybe a slightly more easier move might be taking Mbeumo out for Brentford. I know that Brentford are a good attacking side as well, and Mbeumo might be a talisman, but James Maddison does look quite strong. Now he has Fulham away in Game Week 2, which is why I want to keep him. I think it's a great fixture for Brentford. Crystal Palace and Bournemouth at home are also pretty strong, and that's why this transfer is pretty tough to make. So that's why I'm not really locking this move in at all. I'm not as confident in the Reece James move as I am with this move, as the fixtures look pretty strong for my midfielders. But let's just say in Game Week 2, I just see that Brentford aren't really doing that well. I just see Maddison pop off against United. This is definitely a tempting move to actually make. But let's just see how Martinelli and Mbeumo get along in the next game week, and if James Maddison can actually keep this up. Then the final transfer, or at least player I've got on my watch list, is going to be Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea. Had a few big chances against Liverpool, a side that are usually quite good defensively, and he looks like a real FPL asset. Now I'm willing to give him one more game week rest my way. I just want to see how Chelsea line up, because against Luton and Nottingham Forest at home, he could even be a Campsy option. Now the player that I therefore move, I don't want to take Erling Haaland out my squad, so I'll therefore have to take Ollie Watkins, and he has Everton at home and Burnley away in the next 2. Liverpool away isn't even that bad of a fixture. You guys saw them against Chelsea, not really defending that well at the moment, and that's why Nicholas Jackson could be an easy switch come game week 3 or 4. So therefore a move that I'm considering if you guys did start with Jackson to begin the game week, wouldn't be kind of too put off because he blanked against Liverpool, as he looked like one of the best players on the pitch. So this is another move that I might consider doing come game week 3 or come game week 4, as that Chelsea run of fixtures are simply outstanding. But as mentioned, these transfers are definitely not going to be taking place in game week 2. I'll bank the transfer and then use 2 free transfers probably in game week 3 to prepare for some nice fixture runs. Leave me in the comments down below, are you guys making any transfers for the upcoming game week 2? I can probably bet that you might be holding. I think most teams look pretty decent, and the only transfer that I'd potentially make is Gabriel to Chor if you guys don't own. But if you guys have any questions about your team, any kind of transfer plans, comment them down below and I'll try to help you out as much as possible, as I do reply to every comment. But this is basically going to wrap up the video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'll see you guys with the team selection and the ultimate guide coming up later in the week. Otherwise, hopefully Bruno and Rashford get us some points tonight. But I'm going to sign off. This has been Dayvy FPL and I'm out.